Hey everybody, it's Zach. Welcome back to the Heroverse. And guys, I just got done with episode 6 of the Mandalorian season 3 titled Guns for Hire. Guys, I don't know, this was an okay episode. What sums up this episode is the best thing I could say is that what sums up this episode is Christopher Lloyd spiked the robot punch. That is literally all I could say about this episode, because that's literally what this episode is. And either you haven't watched this episode, but you're watching my spoiler review because you want to watch it. But that is literally what this episode is Christopher Lloyd spiking the robot punch. That's literally what it is. In this episode, I was really kind of looking forward, and what I thought this episode was going to be was us finding out which Mandalorians broke out, Moff Gideon. I thought that's what this episode was going to be, because that's how we kind of left off last week's episode with I forget his name, but the one dude, coming across was it Moff Gideon's transport ship, and finding out that finding out there was Beskar residue, and kind of like putting two and two together, saying, I think did Mandalorians break out Moff Gideon. And I went into this episode thinking, okay, we're with Bo-Katan's old, squad, ran by, and it was ran by, Axe, I think his name is Axe Wolves, is one of Bo-Katan's squad members. And pretty much, he's running he's running Bo-Katan's old squad. Now he's running the squad. And he is doing pretty much, what the title is, Guns for Hire. Pretty much they're just doing bounties and stuff like that. And they're getting credits. So they're doing jobs, they get credits. That's literally what they're doing. So when it said Guns for Hire, I thought to myself, are they the ones that broke out Moff Gideon? And we see that, and we know that, Bo-Katan and Mando were going out to, pretty much to gather all other founding Mandalorian, so that way they can literally be underneath one, creed, and they could, take back Mandalore, and they can just, rebuild. And when I put two and two together, saying, oh my God, if she's gonna go back to her old squad to try to recruit them and try to get them to come back. And you know what I mean? And because she was set out to go find all the other founding Mandalorian. So I instantly I thought I was kind of putting two and two together. It was like, oh my God, are they the ones that broke out Moff Gideon, and how is she gonna feel about that? Because they're kind of they're now Guns for Hire. But in reality, the Guns for Hire aspect was for, Din and Bo-Katan, because they go to this planet of, I think it's called Plazir 15. And it isn't underneath the New Republic's kind of guidelines of Coruscant. It isn't they're not in any they're their own planet. They don't have any help from the New Republic, so they're their own planet on Plazir 15. And pretty much, they are there, Bo-Katan and Din, to go talk to her old squad, but of course it is ran by Axe Wolves now. He's the one that's in charge of their old squad, and she's like, they might not listen to me. But, they're like, but we're willing to try, so that's why we're here. But, of course, the prince and I guess the prince and princess of Plazir 15 end up being Jack Black and Lizzo. That was the goofiest shit, seeing Jack Black, but I was like, okay, this fits. I could see it. Him being in Star Wars, I guess, why the hell not? It just, I don't know, this episode felt very cameo-y, because that wasn't even the highlight of the episode. The highlight definitely was seeing Christopher Lloyd being the one that's in control of the Imperial battle droids on this planet, because all these battle droids are Imperial. So there's there's a whole bunch of Imperial battle droids on this planet, and he is kind of, they've been kind of reprogrammed. These are reprogrammed Imperial battle droids. But the question is, is that, Jack Black's character and Lizzo's character hire Bo-Katan and Din to try to figure out why there are kind of like rogue Imperial droids breaking their new programming and kind of making mayhem around Plaisir 15. Mind you, they put battle droids and thought that they could reprogram them. One, that's a bad idea. You have Imperial battle droids on your planet, and you thought reprogramming them was a good idea, when in reality you should have just scrapped them. That was one thing I was like, okay, this doesn't really make much sense. This is a danger to an in-domed, safe haven. You have a whole bunch of a whole bunch of Imperial battle droids in here that you thought would just we could reprogram them. It's like, I was like, I would just scrap them just to be on the safe side. And really they won't let Bo-Katan or Din go talk to Axe Wolves until they do what they want them to do first, on them figuring out why are their rogue battle droids making mayhem around Plaisir 15. So that is their task before they can get the Axe Wolves and the other Mandalorians to go tell them, oh, come with us, because we're taking back Mandalore, but yada yada yada. And pretty much we end up finding out that it was Christopher Lloyd's character, and he spiked literally the robot punch that pretty much with little nanobots that pretty much affected their reprogramming of these Imperial bots. So I was like, this is the goofiest shit, that Christopher Lloyd literally spiked the robot punch. That is literally what this episode is about. And I thought that, I was like, wow, we really had this roadblock put in front of us for no reason, just so we could talk to Axe Wolves, just for Axe Wolves to say, oh, he loves being in charge now, and that he is done following Bo-Katan, and because one, she doesn't have the Darksaber. But it got to the point where Din's like, I was captured, she killed my capturer, so this is now her Darksaber. And they're like, does this not make her Darksaber now? And the Axe Wolf said it does, and automatically she is now the wielder of the Darksaber, and now automatically they kind of have to follow her, because whoever has the Darksaber, you have to whoever Mandalorian has the Darksaber means that they have they are in full control and get to rule Mandalore, and just get to get to have other Mandalorians follow them. So automatically they have to follow her because she now has the Darksaber. So Axe Wolves and the other founding Mandalorian of our old squad now have to follow her, and I guess we are now getting the answer of now we got the answer. We are rebuilding Mandalore, so I'm thinking we're not going to be rebuilding it on Greef Karga's planet of, I forget what the name I think it's Rivaro. We're not good. I guess they're not going to be rebuilding on Rivaro. I guess they're going to be rebuilding on Mandalore, so I guess they actually are going back to Mandalore. But they said take back Mandalore, and I'm thinking to myself, what is there to take back? There's no one on Mandalore. You can just go there and rebuild. That's not kind of, I guess in a way, take it back, meaning like they want to tell wants to tell I forget what it's called, the new, no, it's not called that. It's called like the New Republic. I guess they want to tell the New Republic, like, hey, like, meaning, like, let's take it back, meaning, like, oh, like, just leave us alone, we're over here, do that, I don't know, because their one kind of, like, way of getting Din and Bo-Katan to kind of, like, take their task is, like, oh, we'll tell the New Republic that, we consider you as a what, like, I guess as a planet or whatever, or something like that, and we're allies. It was something like that, I don't know. But in reality, I was like, I really don't know. I guess, are they actually going to rebuild on Mandalore, or are they actually rebuilding Mandalore on Rivaro? Like, I don't know. Like, these are questions I have. We still didn't get the answer on who the hell broke out Moff Gideon, and I just thought this was a goofy ass episode that we had Jack Black, Lizzo, and we had literally Christopher Lloyd, and it was the story. It was about who spiked the robot punch, and it ended up being Christopher Lloyd. So I found that funny. So that's why literally the only part about this episode was about Christopher Lloyd spiking the robot punch. And I don't know, it was just an okay episode, nothing special. I just felt like, and what was crazy to me is that this episode was directed by why can't I remember? It was directed by I think Bryce Dallas Howard, which is crazy that she directed this episode. I really loved her past episodes of Mandalorian, so I'm quite shocked that I really didn't enjoy this episode that much. She usually has the best episodes of the previous 2 seasons of Mandalorian. She usually has like some of the best episodes. Some of the best standout episodes, and it just is weird that this was one of the episodes where I was like, it kind of was it did stand out because it was a goofy ass episode where with a roadblock that didn't need to be there about Christopher Lloyd spiking the robot punch. So in reality, it was a standout episode, and one I don't think I will forget because it was such a like, what the hell, Jack Black, Lizzo, Christopher Lloyd. I was just saying that all throughout the episode. I mean, it was an okay episode. I'm really curious to know, like, what did you guys think about this episode? What was your standout of this episode? How did you feel when Jack Black, Lizzo, and Christopher Lloyd popped on the screen? I was just like, oh my god, Jack Black. I was like, okay, that's fitting. Lizzo, okay, I guess I could see that too. Christopher Lloyd, I was like, oh, this just is like, it's giving me weirdly like when he popped up in his what was it? His Plausier 15 commanding officer outfit. It reminded me a lot of Star Trek. I don't know why, but I got like Star Trek vibes when bro popped up. I was like, this feels weird. I was like, and instantly I kind of had the feeling that he was probably the one doing it because he was in control of turning off all the droids. But his excuse on this said, why don't you just turn off all the droids? And he's like, oh, on here on Plausier 15, people like the civilians need these droids to survive, and if I shut them down, like we will go in a deep the Plausier 15 will go in a deep collapse of of mayhem, like, you know what I mean? It'll lead to its doom if I turn off all the droids. And I thought already, I was like, okay, this is a little sus. I feel like he's definitely the one behind it, and it ended up being him. So there really wasn't that much of a twist. And also, like, it was Christopher Lloyd spiked the robot punch because he was a Dooku sympathizer, because he ended up being a Dooku sympathizer. So that automatically, the story of that just is funny. Like, that is like, what's funny about this episode is that literally you could say that. It's about him spiking the robot punch because he was a Dooku sympathizer. And I just thought to myself, what a roadblock. This episode was such a roadblock just so Bo-Katan could talk to Axe Wolves and get her old squad back. I was like, this is like, did not go where I thought it was going to go. Because instantly when they got to Plausier 15, they would be able to talk to Axe Wolves, and we would be able, and us seeing, when they got to Plausier 15, they saw the Imperial droids. I was like, oh my god, is there a chance that this could mean that Moff Gideon is here? And I thought instantly maybe they were hiding, like when we saw Jack Black's character and Lizzo's character. I was like, oh my god, maybe that they're hiding Moff Gideon here. Maybe they know of Moff Gideon being here. And I thought it was like maybe like, or maybe they were like forced to kind of like, maybe they were forced to like to hide Axe Wolves and the other Mandalorian and Moff Gideon, and that's why they were kind of like sending them on this wild goose chase of these like kind of like rogue Imperial like droids. I thought they were kind of like trying to get them off, like they're like trying to hide Moff Gideon, hide Axe Wolves and all them, and do that. That's why I thought we were initially going with the plot line, but ended up not being it at all, is that they were actually wanting to hire the Din and Bo-Katan to figure out like what's going on with these rogue droids. And then once you guys figure that out, then I'll let you guys go talk to Axe Wolves and all them. So it's kind of like they had their own agenda on that. They're like, okay, like we're gonna hire you guys, and then you guys can talk to Axe Wolves. You're not gonna be able to talk to Axe Wolves beforehand. I need you to deal with our problem first of the rogue droids. So in reality, I was like, okay, this is not where I thought this was going. This is very disappointing. So so I was like, they had me until we got to the planet, and then they had me until then they told them the reason why they won't let them go talk to Axe Wolves first, and they had to deal with their rogue droid problem. And then at that moment, I was like, okay, this isn't the episode I thought it was gonna be. So it was a disappointing episode on that factor, and literally it just is funny as shit. It was my biggest takeaway, is that again, Christopher Lloyd spiked the robot punch because he was a Dooku sympathizer. I was just like, wow, okay, this wasn't what a weird episode. And again, it was a standout episode, you know what I mean? So Bryce Dallas Howard did another standout episode, you know what I mean? So I think if I'm correct, she was the one that directed this episode. Um, but yeah, other than that, guys, let me know what you think about this episode. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Let me know just where you think this season's gonna go for the rest of the season, because I'm not really quite sure what we're really doing here. I feel like these episodes just keep going as they're going. I feel like we really don't have an idea of really like. I feel like the season isn't very strong on the message it wants to tell of like and where the show wants to go. Other than the fact now, I guess we're rebuilding Mandalore, but we don't really know where, or we're taking back Mandalore. But it's like, when do we need to really take it back? I'm confused because no one's there taking over and taking control of Mandalore. So that's why I'm very. I guess in a sense it's like they are taking it back, meaning they're rebuilding. They're taking back their kind of like way of living, I guess, in a way that's maybe that's what they mean by it. I don't know. Either way, it was just a weird ass episode, and it was kind of a disappointment. But guys, yeah, like again, if you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel, put notifications, like this video. I'd love to have you guys here, part of the family, part of the channel. We're all about spreading love, positivity, and motivation. And yet again, guys, we're almost to 700 subscribers. And I would love to have you guys here because we're, a part of the fam, a part of the channel. I already said that. Yeah. But I guess, we're almost, like I said, to 700 subscribers. Right now, we're at 680, I want to say 684 or something like that, but we're almost to 700 subscribers. My initial goal at the end of this year is to hit 1,000 subscribers, and again, I could do that with your support. So yet again, if you're new here, subscribe to the channel, put those notifications, like this video. But guys, yet again, that was the video. Hope everybody has a great day, a safe day, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.